My name is Andy Peterson, and I'm Senior Director of Molecular Biology at Genentech. Yeah, so we've been involved with a collaborative project, a consortium of individuals carrying out an initial project to lay the foundation for a larger project. But this initial project, this pilot project, has characterized the whole genome sequences from about nearly 2,000 individuals across Asia, but with a very large representation from South Asia. Nearly almost 40% of all the individuals that we sequenced in this study were from South Asia, primarily India. And really, as I said, the goal and the design of this project was to understand something about the overall spread of genetic diversity across Asia. Asian genetic diversity has really been not characterized in any detail. Most genetic studies have focused on European populations. Well, already we can make predictions about the prevalence and incidence of different diseases in different areas of Asia, where the underlying genetic variation that predisposes to those diseases, of course, varies between different populations, different groups within Asia. But I think the longer-term impact is really that in a larger scale, but to an even greater degree, allowing large-scale studies to be done much more efficiently now that we have the initial pilot characterization of the genetic diversity. Really, most of the projects that are in the pipeline are projects that are focused on specific disease areas that will make use of the data from this pilot project. So studies focusing primarily on complex disease complications of diabetes, diabetic kidney disease, and liver disease associated with diabetes. So the goal of the pilot project is actually not to focus on disease specifically, but to enable disease studies. So the success of the project really can't be measured in terms of outcomes for specific diseases. Yeah, the outcome will come from the fact that now these disease-focused studies can be done. You know, so genomics is a method for gathering information. So you know, the areas that might need to be regulated are around patient privacy. How does the information get handled in terms of disclosing someone's disease status? But I think you know, the other area that you brought up is around how to say, making false claims for the information that is produced from genomics, and that really you know, primarily comes from how much do you protect the consumer. I mean, there's the old adage that you know, let the buyer beware. And I think that's largely true here as well. So, you know, I think that I myself wouldn't advocate for too much increased regulation about claims for what conclusions can be made from genomic data. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it falls under the primary area of regulation that it falls under is when there's claims made about how to say, prognostic or diagnostic value. And there's already a regulatory framework in place for that. You know, it's a test like any other test. So it can be regulated under that. And in that context, it needs to be done under the direction of a physician. Yeah. That's really difficult to predict because it's been under such a state of rapid flux. But I think what I've seen over the last few years is that the ability to apply the tools has just spread. Of course, the initial focus has really been on human biology, but just it's been spreading more and more into other parts. And one of the most surprising is the one that you brought up, which is kind of consumer information services, which are very large volume. You know, what their value is a question, but the dollars that are being spent on those areas are really amazing. Again, it's woven into everything we do in biomedical research, so the impact is essentially in every drug which is made nowadays uses genomic information to be produced, and that's also true, as I said, for plant breeding, wildlife conservation, anywhere that genomics has been applied. Pretty much anything in that area that is happening now is using genomics. So the impacts are very widespread, I guess, is the amazing thing. You know, genomics is a very broad term, and I think that's kind of that's the fundamentally, it's essentially woven in every drug that if you just name a drug that's recently been approved, genomics was used for every step of the development of that drug. So the cost of applying the approaches is falling, but I am sure that what that does is it means that many more things are done with it. So I think the overall amount of money that's being spent in the area is going up. The cost per individual assay or experiment is going down, but the total dollars being spent are going up and up and up.